So the next design principle we have is called value change. Now we've seen a bit of value change before in that slider example where we saw the different digits move as the slider was moved. But value change creates a dynamic and continuous narrative relationship when value subject changes. So the representations of value, being numerical, maybe text-based, or even graphic, are really abundant in digital interfaces, whether that be like in dashboards or payment-based apps, even some banking apps. So we do see it a lot. So like I said, products ranging from banking apps, personal calendars, etc. But just to reiterate, it does create that continuous relationship when something changes on screen. So let's get right into it. So as we see in this form-based app that is talking about different types of values here, we can see that when a user actually clicks the slider, we have that value change. And, it can be animated in any way that you deem necessary, as long as it's intuitive for the user. But you can see over here that it's really helpful to not only have motion included here, it helps the user understand that, there is parenting as well that we've seen before, but we are also seeing that actual state change happen as we move this slider. So we can directly make that connection without seeing this, change abruptly and not really understand that what happened, how did the number get all the way to 90,000 or so on. This is a pretty simple interaction, so that may not be the case, but definitely for when we see charts loading to kind of show results changing, etc. That kind of stuff is really important. Like this. We kind of see an overview of how these different states change over the days of the week. We're seeing these numbers build up, and this could be used for a variety of reasons. One, like I mentioned, usability is a big one, understanding that there is a connection between the two and that, these digits are moving, because it is important for somebody to understand, how much, maybe they invoiced or how many hours they actually worked. But it's really nice in terms of delight, because we get to see these different types of UI elements moving on the screen at once. It could allow the user to get a sense of progression, as we see here. The amount of tasks just constantly adding up, the amount of dollars invoiced adding up. So it really is great to kind of possibly get an email with a little thing like this that shows that from Sunday all the way to Friday, you have just been on a roll with the amount of tasks you've been pulling off, with the amount of hours you worked, and the amount of money that you've invoiced for. So definitely great to reinforce all those different things. Value change really informs users that certain data is interactive and may be influenced to an extent. Like I was saying with charts and maybe calendars, etc. When values are basically introduced without motion, users generally, their willingness to engage with the data decreases, because values sometimes are really hard for us to interpret, especially numerical values. Making that much more easy to interface with really helps, with retention and follow through for our users.